What's up everyone, Lang Whitaker here from Grind City Media. It's time for Cooking with Lang, and we did ribs on here before. I lived in Memphis for 3 years now. You gotta eat ribs regularly. I don't always have 8 hours though to smoke the ribs and marinate them and cook them and all the other stuff. So this is what I call weeknight ribs. These are gonna be really quick. We're gonna do them on the grill, under 30 minutes, tons of flavor. They're gonna taste awesome. I'm gonna make them, you can make them with me. This is Cooking with Lang, let's go. Today we are making grilled ribs. Step one, get yourself a rack of ribs. This is back ribs, pork ribs. We're gonna grill these, and so to save us some time now, we're gonna go ahead and cut these into more manageable slices. I'm not gonna cut them up piece by piece, but I look for the rib. There's a rib right there. I'm gonna go through the back here. I kind of cut them into, how about these bigger ones we'll do in groups of 2. And then this one we could probably do in groups of 3. So these guys, now we're gonna season them. I gotta wash my hands. I'll be right back. Let me wash my hands. I got pork hands. Hold on. Hands are clean. Now we're gonna try to get as much flavor on these things as we can. So we're gonna go salt. I'm gonna go kind of aggressively with this. And then some black pepper, fresh cracked, some garlic powder, and then some oregano. Now you could make these kind of Asian flavors and use 5-spice powder or something like that. I'm gonna go sort of a Greek, Italian, Mediterranean thing. Got some dried oregano. It's so fragrant. I'm gonna use that on the outside of these guys. I'm gonna do both sides of these, coat them really well, take whatever's left over on this tray, roll these around in them, and then they'll be ready to go. As I flip these over to season the other side, I realize this one, there's this fat in here. We don't want that on the grill. It's just gonna cause a flare up and burn. So I'm gonna use a little knife, just do what I can to get rid of that fat, throw that away. Just make life easier for everybody. And then I'm gonna keep seasoning these things up. Last thing before we go to the grill is I'm gonna make a barbecue sauce, but not a tomato-based sauce like you normally think of. Instead, I'm gonna go with some of those same flavors we were talking about, sort of a Greek, Italian type thing. So I've got a little bowl here. I'm gonna go with some of that same dried oregano, some rosemary from the garden, and rosemary and oregano are nice friends. They play well together. They'll go in together. 2 cloves of garlic here that I'm gonna basically just smash with my knife and then give them a rough chop. Doesn't have to be perfect. That's nice and good. Some lemon juice for the acid. You could use vinegar, you could use whatever you want in here. I got a lemon. I'm gonna use this squeezer thing in the jig. I don't know what it's called, but it works really good. And it gets the juice out and keeps the seeds away. This one half, let's do the other half. Now for a little sweetness, and because I want them to get a little burn flavor on that grill, so I'm gonna use some honey. And this is from a farmer up the road. I get it at the farmer's market. This is called summer honey. I didn't know what that meant, but it's a little lighter apparently. It's about a tablespoon of honey, maybe a tablespoon and a half. I don't want it to be like really sickly sweet, but just a little bit of that flavor. I'm gonna cheat, use a little bit of mustard, which is not typically those flavors, but it's gonna kind of help emulsify it and give it a little more vinegar flavor. Some salt, a teaspoon of salt. A teaspoon of pepper. If you wanted to make it a little spicier here, you can go some cayenne or something like that. And then last thing, last thing, olive oil. I'm gonna stir, get this all mixed in there nice and smooth. It takes about a 1/4 cup of olive oil, extra virgin. And then you gotta test it and taste it. just so good, sweet, and lemony, and salty. It's great. So that's gonna be our barbecue sauce. I'm gonna go put my grill on medium-high heat, let it warm up for about 10-15 minutes, and then we're gonna cook. Grill's at about 350 degrees. It's time to put these ribs on the grill. So I'm gonna put them on meat bed down, rub them in the whatever's left of this kind of dry rub on here. I'm gonna put these guys, the big ones first, how about that? The bigger ones, might take a little longer. Grill's on medium high. We're putting them right on the fire. And they're gonna cook for about 5 minutes on this side. And then we'll give them a flip. And then toward the end, we'll start applying the sauce. I don't wanna put the sauce on too soon because of the honey in there, it might burn. So these guys are good. I'm gonna close the lid, let them go for about 5 minutes. About halfway done, and I'm gonna start to baste these with some of that sauce. Instead of a brush, I'm just using a couple of sprigs of rosemary held together, get a little more flavor into it. It's gonna go in with this. And it's gonna flare up a little bit, that's okay. But a camera person might want to stand back. But like, look, we're literally putting oil on a fire. Like, what do you think's gonna happen? But that's okay. I'm gonna flip these over now. And I'd say another 5 minutes on this side, and then we'll give them another flip. Just trying to make sure the meat is getting cooked. You can kind of tilt it like that if you need to, or lean it up against the side. I'm gonna leave the lid open now because there's flames and smoke and stuff, but we're in a good place right here. And we're done. These guys have been cooking about 20-25 minutes. Probably about 175 inside. 145 is done. Cook them a little more on the grill. It kind of helps make it a little easier to eat. I'm gonna take these off the heat, take them inside, let them rest for like 5-10 minutes, and then we're gonna cut them into single servings. And then we're gonna eat. And these are gonna be amazing. They look so good. Ribs are done. They rested about 10 minutes. Now I'm cutting them into single serving portions. They look amazing on the inside. They have that great crust on the outside. If you have a cutting board that has the name of your cooking program on it, then now's a great time to use it. I'm gonna cut this like that. I'm gonna put them up here, and then before I serve them, that kind of marinade barbecue sauce thing we made, I'm just gonna drizzle a little bit of that on top. Just a little more flavor, never hurt anybody. So, yeah, there's some raw garlic in there, so what? It's gonna taste good. And then, I haven't tried one of these guys yet, so this one I saved over here for me. You're gonna eat. Taste the grill right away. The char from it, salty. The acid of the lemon gets through there. The honey burns a little bit, tastes good. Oh, you taste the oregano, the rosemary, the garlic. These are amazing. And look, this was 30 minutes pretty much start to finish. If you want to make ribs, you don't want to spend 7 hours making ribs and cooking all day long. You can cook ribs when you get home for half an hour. These are good weeknight ribs. I'm gonna call them quick ribs. This is Cooking with Lang. I just made these. You can make them too. Let's do it together.